Cicilline, you're next.
Thank you. I want to just quickly rebut two claims that have been made in this hearing. One, that we've done nothing about ghost guns. The ATF has taken action to limit ghost guns. We passed my bill to ban ghost guns as part of the Protect Our Kids Act. It wasn't acted upon by the Senate. And secondly, this notion that somehow guns level the playing field for women, really? More than two-thirds of the victims shot and killed by intimate partners are women. And the presence of a firearm makes an abuser 5 times more likely to take a partner's life than if no firearm is present. So let me just set those two claims aside quickly. The reality is, every day in this country, 120 people are killed by gun violence. That's one life lost every 12 minutes. Gun violence is now the leading cause of death in children and teens in this country. There have been more mass shootings than days in 2023. Our children are participating and being traumatized by active shooter drills because the risk of a school shooting is so high. We've even seen a new design for a bulletproof mini room to be installed in classrooms to provide better protection if they're forced to shelter in place. This has become our day-to-day reality in the United States, but we cannot accept this as normal. And yet, as we continue to see the gun violence epidemic in this country continue to grow, how do my Republican colleagues respond? By trying to abolish the ATF, the agency responsible for implementing regulations to curb this violence and carnage. And that brings me to my first question. Mr. Bosco, this is a yes or no. Is this AR-15 equipped with an SB tactical arm brace?
Yes, it is.
It is. Now, for members of the audience, this is a picture of the weapon used by the mass shooter who killed 5 people and wounded 17 on November 19th in the Club Q shooting, an LGBTQ club in Colorado. It appears to have an SB tactical arm brace that was just identified. The shooter had several run-ins with law enforcement before this massacre, including an incident where he had held his grandparents hostage that led to a SWAT team standoff in 2019. Mr. Wilcox, if the ATF's arm brace rule had been enacted earlier, even last year, would the shooter have been able to obtain this kind of weapon?
Thanks for that question. I mean, the fact is that short-barreled rifles aren't showing up in mass shootings unless they have been equipped with an arm brace, because those have been able to get around the national firearm restrictions. So no, that product wouldn't have been available as easily as it was if the regulation had been in place.
And Colorado Springs is sadly just one example. Mr. Wilcox, have any other mass shootings been committed with AR-15 style weapons with arm braces?
Yes, Congressman, I'm aware of at least 2 others, one in Dayton, Ohio, and another in Boulder, Colorado.
Now, we've heard a lot today about ATF's rules subjecting firearms equipped with stabilizing braces to regulation. Does that rule do anything more than close a loophole that allowed people to evade public safety regulations simply by adding accessories to pistols to transform them into short-barreled rifles?
No, Congressman, this is ATF enforcing the laws on the books, assessing technology, going through the notice and comment rulemaking process, taking appropriate action, and providing ample compliance opportunities, waiving the fees that come with the National Firearms Act, and having a grace period so that law-abiding responsible citizens can take advantage and register their weapons if they wish.
And again, short-barrel rifles have been regulated under the National Firearms Act since 1934. Isn't that correct?
That's correct. Your predecessors in Congress established the clear law in the 1930s around short-barreled rifles.
And stabilizing braces have been examined by the ATF since 2012. Why did it take so long for the agency to close this loophole?
So it's because I believe technology has changed in that time. And in fact, this wasn't the first time ATF acted. Under the last administration, the Trump administration, they took action, sending a cease and desist letter to one company that was selling a short-barreled rifle equipped with an arm brace. And so we've seen ATF consistently act as they've started to assess technology before entering the formal notice and comment rulemaking process.
And does the ATF rule prohibit veterans or the disabled or any law-abiding American from possessing a firearm equipped with a stabilizing brace? And will disabled veterans be able to keep these types of firearms even if the stabilizing brace was designed to be fired from the shoulder?
Absolutely, Congressman. There's no prohibition in this regulation. There's no prohibition on short-barreled rifles in the National Firearms Act. In fact, ATF processes hundreds of thousands of national firearm applications every year for millions of firearms. This is something ATF knows how to do and does do.
Thank you. I want to just end by thanking all the advocates here for gun safety for all your good work and for being present today to hold everyone accountable for their remarks and their votes. And I yield back.